All right, so today we are taking a deep dive into some serious home design for birds, that is.
That's right.
We're going to be looking at bird nests and
Amazing bird nests.
amazing bird nests, yeah.
Absolutely.
So we've got this YouTube video all queued up. It's like the top 15 most amazing nests in the animal world. And
Yeah, it's easy to think of bird nests as just, a pile of twigs or some grass and mud, but
right.
the variety out there is just incredible, and the skill and ingenuity involved. It's amazing what these birds can do.
Yeah, well, let's just jump right in then.
Okay.
So this video starts out with the weaver bird, and
Oh, the
honest,
weaver birds,
these nests are like showstoppers.
they are showstoppers, and what's really impressive is that it's the male weaver bird that builds the nest
Oh, really?
entirely by himself to attract a mate.
Wow.
So talk about pressure, right?
Yeah, right. You got one shot at this.
Yeah, and not only that, but they start building these nests in August,
Yeah.
and they don't finish until February.
Wow. So we're talking like a 6 month.
Yeah, a 6-month-long construction project.
Just to get a date. To get a date, and then what if,
Yeah.
she doesn't like it?
Well, that's the thing. They're constantly
Well-
refining and adding to it to make sure it meets the female's very specific requirements.
Oh, really? So she's like picky.
Very picky. Yeah. It has to be the right shape, the right size, the right materials.
Ah.
So yeah, it's a big commitment.
I'd be stressed out for sure.
Yeah. And not to mention the actual skill involved. I mean, we're talking intricate weaving, knot tying. They use their beaks and their feet as tools.
Wow.
And then they have to make sure it's waterproof and can withstand storms.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
That's a lot of pressure for a little bird.
It is.
So from a solo project to a couples project, the next nest we're looking at here is the hammercop.
Ah, yes, the hammercop.
Yeah.
Now, these guys work together, the male and female,
Okay.
to build their nests. And we're not talking about, a little dainty nest here.
Yeah.
These nests are massive.
Massive. Like, how big are we talking? Well, they can get so big that they can sometimes even fit a human inside.
What?
Yeah, they're incredibly impressive structures, made from sticks and mud and even dung.
Dung, really?
Yeah, they use whatever they can find.
Huh.
And what's even more fascinating is they're not content with just building one nest.
Oh.
These birds will build up to 5 nests per year,
Per year.
and they often renovate old ones. So it's like they have a whole real estate portfolio.
Wow, that's amazing. Do they ever rent out the old ones, I wonder?
That's a great question. It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, other birds are known to take advantage of abandoned nests.
Right.
It just goes to show how these nests can impact the whole ecosystem,
Totally.
providing shelter not just for the hammercops themselves,
Mm-hmm.
but for other creatures as well.
Mm.
It's interesting, in some cultures, the hammercop is actually considered a bad omen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's believed to bring bad luck or even signal danger.
Oh.
So you can see how our relationship with nature is so complex and often tied to these cultural beliefs and superstitions.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point.
Yeah. Well, from partners in construction to single-parent superhero, next up we have the ruby-throated hummingbird.
Ah, yes, the tiny but mighty hummingbird. And in this case, it's the female that does all the work.
Wow, she does it all.
All of it. From gathering the materials, to building the nest, to raising the chicks, all on her own.
That's pretty incredible. And what are these nests like? I mean, they must be tiny.
They are tiny and incredibly intricate. They're made from moss plant down, spider silk, even feathers.
Wow. And how does she even keep all that together?
Well, the spider silk is key. It makes the nest flexible so it can actually expand as the chicks grow.
Oh, that's smart.
And the camouflage is amazing. It blends right in with the surrounding branches.
Wow.
It's really a marvel of engineering.
Yeah, you can't help but admire that kind of dedication.
Absolutely.
Okay, now for a bird that needs no introduction, the bald eagle
Majestic.
and their nests are equally as impressive.
Oh, they are grand in every sense of the word. We're talking nests that can reach up to 2.9 meters wide, 6 meters deep, and weigh over 2 tons. 2 tons! That's like a small car.
It is. And these nests aren't built overnight. They're built and refurbished over many years, often passed down through generations.
Wow, generations. So you're telling me like a great-great-great-grand eagle could have been raised in the same nest?
Absolutely. It's amazing to think about all the history contained within those nests.
Yeah, like a family heirloom almost. And what are they made of, to get that big?
Well, sticks primarily for the structure. Then they line it with softer materials like grasses and moss for comfort.
Oh, okay.
And they even use moss as a natural insect repellent.
So they've got like a built-in pest control system?
Exactly. They've really thought of everything.
Wow.
It shows a deep understanding of their environment and how to use the available resources to create the most comfortable and safe home for their young.
That's incredible.
It is.
Okay, this next one is, well, it's pretty unique, the edible nest swiftlet.
Ah, yes. The bird that makes its nest entirely out of solidified saliva.
You're kidding, right? Their nest is made out of spit.
Not spit exactly, but saliva.
Okay, but still.
It's quite remarkable, really. Yeah. These birds build their nests in limestone caves, and the nests have this translucent white appearance.
And people eat these?
Yes, they do. In Chinese cuisine, these nests are considered a delicacy, often called white gold, because they fetch such a high price.
Wow. So these birds are literally making nests out of gold.
In a way, yes.
Mm.
But unfortunately, that popularity has a downside.
What's that?
Well, the demand for these nests has led to overharvesting, and the edible nest swiftlet is now on the endangered species list.
Oh, that's so sad.
It is. It's a reminder of how our consumption habits can have unintended consequences for the natural world.
Yeah, it's a tough reality, but an important one to acknowledge.
Absolutely.
Well, okay, let's move on to some more nesting strategies. Up next is the European bee eater. And this one is pretty cool because they dig burrows into sandy banks.
Like little rabbits.
I know, right? It's not what you'd expect from a bird.
It's quite unusual, but it's an effective way to create a safe and sheltered nesting site.
And do they do this on their own? Or do they have helpers?
Well, they're actually known for their cooperative breeding behavior.
What does that mean?
It means that both parents care for the eggs and chicks, and sometimes even other related birds will help out.
Oh, so like aunts and uncles.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
a built-in babysitting service.
That's pretty cool. And from a small family affair to a massive community, we've got the sociable weaver.
Oh, yes. The ultimate communal living experience.
Tell me about this.
Well, these birds build massive communal nests that can house hundreds of birds.
Hundreds. That's insane.
It's like a bird apartment complex with multiple chambers and entrances. And it's not just weavers living there. You'll find other birds, wasps, even mammals taking shelter in these structures.
Wow. So it's like a whole ecosystem in one nest.
Exactly. It's a fascinating example of how different species can coexist and even benefit from each other.
Yeah, it makes you think about the potential for communal living, even for humans.
Right. It has its advantages for sure.
Yeah.
Shared resources and increased protection from predators.
But I imagine there are also challenges.
Oh, definitely. Managing resources, dealing with territorial disputes, preventing the spread of disease. It's not all easy living.
No, I guess not.
But it's a fascinating example of how nature has found solutions to these challenges.
Definitely. Well, let's talk about some birds that have adapted to some pretty extreme environments. The horned coot, for example, builds its nest on a floating platform made of pebbles.
These nests are incredibly sturdy. They can weigh up to 1.5 tons, and they have to be able to withstand fluctuating water levels and strong winds.
Wow, 1.5 tons. It's like a hippopotamus.
It's impressive. It's like they've created their own little island.
I know, it's amazing how they managed to build something so stable in such a dynamic environment.
It really speaks to their resourcefulness and adaptability.
It does. And then you've got the gerfalcon, which takes a different approach to nesting.
Ah, yes. The gerfalcon doesn't actually build its own nest.
They don't.
Nope. Instead, they adapt existing ones, often taking over nests built by ravens or eagles.
So they're like the ultimate squatters.
In a way, yes. But it's a smart strategy, especially in harsh environments, where finding suitable nesting materials can be difficult.
Right.
It's all about working smarter, not harder.
I like that. And speaking of adapting to challenging environments, we have the little grebe, which builds its nest right on the water.
These nests are floating platforms made of aquatic vegetation.
So they're like little boats.
Yeah, kind of. But it's a risky strategy because changes in water level can easily flood their nests.
Oh, no.
It's a constant battle against the elements.
Yeah, nature can be tough.
It can.
Okay, let's move on to a bird that's got some serious crafting skills. The common tailor bird.
Ah, yes, the master seamstress of the bird world.
Tell me more.
Well, these birds actually sew their nests together using leaves, spider silk, or plant fibers.
They sew. What?
Yes. They use their beaks like needles, carefully stitching the leaves together to create a secure and camouflaged pouch for their eggs and chicks.
That's incredible. The precision involved is mind-blowing.
It is. They have an innate understanding of their environment and how to use the available materials to their advantage.
Wow, nature is full of surprises.
It certainly is.
Okay, get ready for this one. This is where things get really interesting. We've got the African jacana, and it's a total role reversal when it comes to traditional gender roles.
That's right. In this species, the female is actually larger and more dominant.
Really?
Yeah, and she mates with multiple males, leaving the childcare duties entirely to the dads.
So the males are the ones who build the nests, incubate the eggs, and care for the chicks.
Exactly. It's a fascinating example of how gender roles can be completely different in the animal kingdom.
Yeah, that really challenges our assumptions about what's normal.
It does. And where do they build their nests?
Right. Where are these nests?
Well, they build them on floating platforms, much like the little grebe, using aquatic vegetation as their base.
So they're like little houseboats.
Exactly. It's a clever adaptation to their watery environment.
I love it. Okay, let's dive into the world of cavity nesters. Start with the woodpecker.
Ugh. Ah, the woodpecker, the ultimate DIY enthusiast. They use their powerful beaks to excavate cavities in trees, creating cozy little apartments for their families.
I've always been amazed by how they can hammer away at wood with such force and precision.
It takes a lot of energy and specialized adaptations, but they're masters of their craft.
And then we have the great hornbill, which takes a slightly different approach to cavity nesting.
That's right. They often take over existing cavities, sometimes even sealing themselves inside during incubation.
Wait, they seal themselves inside?
They do. The female will actually wall herself into the nest cavity using a mixture of mud droppings and food scraps, leaving just a small opening for the male to deliver food.
Wow, that's extreme. But I guess it's effective in protecting the female and her chicks from predators.
It is. It's like a natural fortress.
That's amazing.
It is.
And finally, we have a bird that might be familiar to many, the purple moorhen.
Ah, yes, the purple moorhen, with its vibrant purple plumage and large red bill.
I've definitely seen them around, but I never knew much about their nesting habits.
Well, they build basket-like nests in dense vegetation.
Okay.
And what's interesting is that their chicks become independent after just 3 weeks.
Wow, that's quick.
It's a stark contrast to the much longer period of dependence we see in humans.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about the different paces of development in the animal world.
It does.
This has been an incredible journey through the world of bird nests. We've seen such a diverse range of nesting strategies, from elaborate hanging structures to simple burrows and everything in between.
It's a testament to the ingenuity and adaptability of these feathered architects. Each species has evolved a unique solution to the challenges of creating a safe and nurturing environment for their young.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to learn about the fascinating world of birds and their homes.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is amazing, the diversity out there and just the ingenuity.
Yeah, and speaking of ingenuity, we were talking about those tailor birds earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Those little guys, I mean, they are like master seamstresses.
Yeah, stitching those leaves together. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's incredible.
it's unbelievable.
Imagine like using your beak as a needle,
I can't even imagine.
carefully piercing holes in the leaves, and then using spider silk or plant fibers to sew them together to create this cozy little pouch for their eggs and their chicks.
I know, it blows my mind, the dexterity and the patience that must require.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder that nature is full of these incredible skills and adaptations that we can't even imagine.
Yeah, I know. And speaking of surprising adaptations, you mentioned the African jacana before.
Ah, yes, the African jacana.
Be a little more info on that one. What makes them so special?
Well, they're a fascinating example of role reversal in the bird world.
Okay.
So the females are actually larger and more dominant.
Really?
Yeah, and they mate with multiple males.
Okay.
And then they leave the childcare duties entirely to the dads.
Wow. So it's the males who are building the nests, incubating the eggs, and taking care of the chicks.
Exactly. It's like a complete flip of the script when it comes to traditional gender roles.
Yeah. That is wild. It makes you wonder what kind of evolutionary pressures led to that kind of social structure.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It really is. And where do they actually build their nests?
Well, they build them on floating platforms, kind of like the little grebe that we talked about before,
Oh, okay.
using aquatic vegetation to create a stable base.
So they're like little houseboats.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's a clever adaptation to their watery environment.
it really is. Okay, well, let's talk about a couple more birds that have some really unique nesting strategies. The woodpecker and the great hornbill.
Okay.
Both of these birds are cavity nesters, but they go about it in very different ways.
Yeah, the woodpecker is like the ultimate DIYer,
Yeah.
They use their powerful beaks to excavate these cavities in trees,
Yeah.
create these cozy little apartments for their families.
Yeah, I've always been amazed by how they can hammer away at wood with such force and precision.
I know, it's impressive.
It seems like it would be exhausting.
It's a lot of work. Requires a lot of energy and specialized adaptations, but they're masters of their craft.
For sure. And then you have the great hornbill, on the other hand, which takes a more opportunistic approach to cavity nesting.
Right.
They don't actually excavate their own cavities.
No, they don't.
They take over existing ones.
They do, often ones that were created by woodpeckers or other birds.
Oh, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
And they sometimes take home security to a whole other level.
They do.
What do you mean by that?
Well, during incubation, the female great hornbill will actually seal herself inside the nest cavity,
What?
using a mixture of mud droppings and food scraps,
Oh my God.
leaving just a small opening for the male to deliver food.
Wow, that seems a little claustrophobic to me.
Well, that sounds pretty extreme,
Yeah.
but it's a really effective way to protect the female and her chicks from predators.
Yeah, that's like a natural fortress.
It is.
That's incredible.
It highlights the lengths that some birds will go to ensure the survival of their offspring.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's amazing we've talked about birds that build nests in trees on the ground, in burrows, even on water.
I know.
It seems like there's no limit to their creativity and adaptability.
There really isn't.
Yeah.
They've evolved to nest in such a wide range of habitats, from the Arctic tundra to tropical rainforests.
It's crazy to think about.
And each species has developed these unique nesting strategies that are perfectly suited to their environment and their lifestyle.
Yeah, it's just a testament to the power of evolution and the diversity of life on our planet.
Absolutely.
Before we wrap up, I want to go back to the purple moorhen for a sec.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned that their chicks become independent after only 3 weeks.
I did.
That's a really short amount of time.
It is. It's a much shorter period of parental care that we see in many other bird species,
For sure.
and certainly much shorter than what we humans experience.
I know, it's crazy to think about.
It really puts things into perspective.
It does. It makes you wonder about, the different paces of development in the animal world.
It does. Yeah. And what the evolutionary advantages and disadvantages are of, rapid development versus slow development.
Yeah. It's fascinating to think about. This whole deep dive has really just opened my eyes to the incredible world of bird nests.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever look at a bird's nest the same way again.
I think that's the beauty of exploring nature, It's full of surprises and hidden wonders just waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well said. So what have been some of the most surprising or memorable nests that we've encountered in this deep dive? What really stood out to you?
Well, I think the edible nest swiftlet saliva nest is always a showstopper.
Yeah,
It's such a unique and bizarre adaptation.
for sure.
And the fact that it's considered a delicacy, it adds another layer of intrigue to it.
Definitely.
But for me,
Yeah.
it's the stories behind the nests that I find truly captivating.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like the hammercop with its multiple nests.
Exactly.
It's not just about the structure itself, but about what it tells us about the bird's intelligence, their resourcefulness, even their role in their ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the African jacana, with its role reversal.
Right.
It just challenges our assumptions about gender roles in nature.
It does.
Reminds us that there's so much diversity out there.
Yeah, this deep dive has been incredible. It's given me a whole new appreciation for bird nests.
Me too.
They really are amazing.
They are.
Yeah, they really are amazing. It makes you think, if you were a bird, what kind of nest builder would you be?
That's a fun question to
Okay.
think about.
Uh-huh.
Would you be, the meticulous weaver, or the resourceful adapter, or the communal dweller, or maybe even like a solitary architect?
I think I'd be drawn to that communal approach, like the sociable weaver. There's something appealing about that idea of shared resources and like a built-in community.
Yeah, I could see that. There's definitely a sense of security and resilience in numbers. But, it would also come with those challenges of navigating like social dynamics and competition for resources.
Yeah, it's true. It's all about finding that balance, I guess.
All right, exactly. Like in any community.
But then again, maybe I'd be more of a minimalist. Like the gerfalcon adapting an existing structure seems pretty efficient, you know? Especially if you're in a harsh environment.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely speaks to a certain level of pragmatism and resourcefulness.
Right.
But you also have to be comfortable with a bit of uncertainty, never quite knowing where you might end up.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this deep dive has really just made me appreciate the diversity of bird nests and the incredible adaptations that they represent.
Me too.
From that intricate weaving of the weaver bird to those saliva nests of the swiftlet, it's like each species has found its own unique solution to the challenges of, creating a safe and nurturing home for their young.
It really is testament to the power of natural selection and just the endless creativity of the natural world. And it's a good reminder that there's always more to learn and discover,
Oh, well.
even in something as seemingly familiar as a bird's nest.
So well said.
Hmm.
Well, to our listeners, as you venture out into the world, keep an eye out for bird nests.
You never know what you might find.
You might be surprised by what you find. And the next time you see a bird, carrying a twig or a piece of grass, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey that's about to unfold. The creation of a home, the nurturing of a family, the continuation of a species.
Each nest is like a microcosm of that bird's world,
Yeah,
reflecting its behavior, its adaptations, its connection to the larger ecosystem.
so well put. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of bird nests. We'll catch you next time.